Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
The dimension of physicality is you, your physical life, your body. The dimension of soul of physicality is that love you feel. Is the dimension of interaction of the fields of the physical life. The dimension of the soul is what connects you to the outside world of your physicality with this limitation. Your body walks, you eat, you feed it, you do everything else with it. But everything you do is not just eating it because I have to eat. You eat it according to what emotion it gives you. You kiss your partner because it gives you a confirmation of I exist. Somebody loves me and I can love back. You have a desire, or you take an apple, you think of one apple, you get up and you go to the fridge and you pick up an apple to eat it. Because my physical body has a need, a love, or emotion to connect with that apple. I call it consuming, but in a way, the apple calls me, I'm here for you. You don't want me? It's not that just, oh, I feel an apple and I go and get it. In a way, they feel the strength of the apple in the fridge is there, I'm here, nobody wants me. Oh, I have a fridge in the apple in the fridge, and I'll go and get it. So we have to understand a lot. This is what we call the soul of physicality. It's connected to you. The soul of the man is, you're sitting in this room, you're still enjoying the apple, your limitation is the wall because it's around you, you don't see any beyond it. If there's a window open, you see the neighbors across the road, but your mother is sitting in New York, you're in London. Then, oh, I feel something wrong with mom. Now, the man limitation cannot go. Your limitation is the wall. You're entrapped in the dimension of sex. But your energy, which is connected to your mom, it says, there is a problem with mom. Because you have not learned to carry on with that communication all the time. Mom, how are you? How are you feeling? I want to feel. Oh, this is your kidney. You had a brain hemorrhage. Oh, you're happy because my sister from another place has come to see you. You have to pick up the phone. You open the line and call, Mom, I just thought about you. Are you happy? I felt you're sad. Hello? You ignored the line of communication of your soul with your mother, and you still, because you're so physical, you keep that phone with you? And we ignored that part. And this system of communication is working 24 hours a day. Doesn't go to sleep, doesn't need food, doesn't need rest, and is working continuously because it feeds itself through the fields of the universe. Elevation comes through physical consumption. So now you understand the difference. It's your physical body on the sofa, it's your emotion of enjoying the odor, the essence, the touch, the feeling, the warmth, the everything else with that apple you're chewing. But this is limited to the wall. You cannot see beyond the dimension of physicality of the wall. But the soul feels the mother in New York. And that's your soul. And this is what we denied. And the more and more we become closer, the more and more we become aware of, you just don't need to talk. Because you use that line of communication. Because you learn a new language. You go to language lessons, you watch television programs to learn French, to learn German, and the language which you know you denied. I have a gorgeous feeling and understanding of this. When we came to England in 1970s, my younger brother went to one of the exclusive private schools in India. He looked a little bit Pakistani, because you can say the difference between the Pakistanis and Indians, and a little bit Harvard. He had that inclination towards that. But he wanted to learn English, and he didn't want to interact with the Iranians in his school. And those days, it was a rich time, half of the school were the Iranians. So anybody asked him, are you Iranian? He says, no, I'm from Pakistan. Then they couldn't speak to him Farsi, and he had to speak English because he wanted to learn English. One day, a Pakistani guy says, if you're Pakistani, why don't you speak Urdu? He says, nothing to do with you. I don't like to speak Urdu. He denied himself because he chose to learn a new language, to be in the environment, to learn the culture, but he had no choice. It was the only private school in the city, and that's how he had to go, where to go. He was conditioned. But we used to laugh at him. Even till he was alive, I used to call him Pakistani Motion, because he, with that way, learned to become. He became more English than the Englishman. He learned every facet of how to live, to talk, to be, but he was a pure Iranian in his culture, in living, and everything else. So we are in the same position. We deny ourselves because it suits us to be in that position. We deny our soul. We deny what is natural to us because we've been told to deny, because with that, the religious people can abuse us. The denial of the soul has come out of the religion, out of the belief, not out of our choice of us. And anybody who connects to it, is something wrong with. If you heard a new controversy which has been going around the Keshe Foundation, I explained to you, it's very easy. Now that we start teaching about the soul, the understanding and the work and all the work we do, a sect of the Christianity has said this is Antichrist because they said when the Christ comes, these things will appear first. They don't say these things appear because the time has come. And now this sect of Christians, oh, something wrong with Keshe Foundation. They're Antichrist. Because they said these are the sign when the promised one comes. So if we are the sign, how could it be anti? It doesn't work. Because we are part of it. You denied the existence of your soul to yourself because it's brainwashed. How do we know the difference? You don't need to know the difference. It's you. There has never been a difference. Your sofa, your body on it, you enjoying the apple, that's the wall giving you the limitation. But this can jump out, can be somewhere else. When we did a test with the Chinese military in the summer of this year, they said, oh, you're producing material inside the room. And this is what is created here. When the military officers were walking outside, it says, it's coming outside too. It's got nothing to do with the walls. The walls and the glass don't stop it. It's raining the same outside. Because the military generals never understood this is a plasma, has no physical dimension. And this is the same with you. Your soul has no physical. It's shiny, it rains, it goes outside. You blocked, you imprisoned the body on the sofa. The guy is free. You're a prisoner. The soul is free and travels the span of the universe. And sometimes when in his travel, in touch, it comes to understand and work with others and gets enlightened, we get the beautiful people like Tesla. The enlightenment of the information, the understanding of it, becomes the most admired scientist in the world of electronics or electricals and magnetic fields. Because the limitation of the knowledge in the dimension of physicality is the wall you created around it, you sit in it. It's not limitation to the energy inside you, which is your soul, which travels the span of the universe. How many times you sat somewhere and you were sitting and says, oh, I can do this different, and you get up and you do so, oh, this is a new thing, new invention, new thing. Hello? Did that come to you while you were sitting there when the soul was traveling? Did part of it come from intuition and then you translated it into this and it became something new for you? Is that the daydream you call now enlightened, or something came to me and I tested it and it works? Then you understand. As I said, we are all in it. Is accepting it, understanding it, and what we do with it. I sat with my sister discussing about, and I've said this before, homeopathy. She's a homeopathy doctor. And she was telling me this and this and that. I tried to explain to her, this is not the way you understand it. How it works is different. And in discussion, I fell asleep. She was sitting next to me, and I woke up. She said, I saw you downloading. Because I got up, I said, I'm going to write a paper about homeopathy that you understand. You learn the physical dimension. You don't understand the field dimension of it. And I wrote the paper after homeopathy within hours. And she said, I watched you. You were downloading information. The way your body, your eyes were moving is not normal. I said, does it matter? Now you know the fact. Now you know the truth. How he came, asleep, awake, running, in shower, whatever. Because it's the knowledge we have to accept. And this is what we call the soul. And we have denied this to ourselves. Next time when you say, oh, I felt this, say, my soul tells me this, and I do that. And I had a lot of people, very recently, one of the knowledge seekers writing that to me. My soul told me, Mr. Keshe. I said, your soul told you, but you are misinformed by the knowledge because then you need somebody to confirm it to you. We have to understand horses for courses. Your physicality is for a dimension of your existence. Your solar physicality is for its interaction with its environment, emotionally, and how it reacts physically. And then the soul is this body of you, and the software has a fuel tank which is connected to the others. It is not petroleum, is magnetic field. With the petroleum you need a tank to hold it. With the magnetic field of the soul you need the universe, not even to contain it, but to understand where it goes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 527th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, February 29th, 2024. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the public teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond, and I'll be host today once again in this weekly series of workshops, continuously running for over 10 years. And we have continuously running Mr. Mehran Keshe also here today once again to help us through this workshop. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Are you ready to begin today's excitement?
Yes, thank you very much. And good morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. We're here again to share knowledge, and today is a very exciting day for us. I'll explain to you later on what is going on, and I think it will be a historical day for us as part of the Keshe Foundation, as one nation, one planet, one race. At the same time, our team at this moment of time is negotiation with the leaders of a nation. We wish him and the team the best of the best, that they reach a new understanding for the development of the Keshe Foundation in that nation. It's one of the most powerful nations on the planet, and our team has been in negotiation since early hours of this morning, and I hope we all give our souls to the team. It'll bring a major breakthrough for Keshe Foundation. It has brought, and I hope we hear a good news or what is the next step in this development, which will bring a huge change to the structure of the Keshe Foundation worldwide. As we heard this intro, It brings a lot of things to us. It brings a lot of knowledge to us. It brings a lot of changing the taboos which the scientists never understood and brought to us. And we accepted it because we thought they know what they're talking about. And in fact, they knew nothing what they're talking about. It's just that with what I say, it brings me credibility and brings me whatever, and I'll be a good guy and intelligent. But now, as I said, the intelligence of you knowledge seekers surpasses many scientists and many of the leading, what I call, authorities in the world of physics and any other. Because they read from the book, which they copy, you understood the process of creation, and you're the master. One day he has to read yours, and then it becomes you're a student. So it changes the clothes of the monkey from one to another. In the world of physics, as the whole structure of this technology is based on physics, in a way, how two things interact with each other, which creates a world of physics. We have a lot of what I call false belief accepted to be the true science, and with it we have made everything to confirm the fallacy which is brought in. In a way, as we are in dimension of magnetic fields, as we are in dimension of cosmic rays, as we are in section of understanding the knowledge of the work of the universe, one of the biggest taboos and one of the things which cannot be discussed, and billions of dollars has been spent on it, and in a way we all say yes, it's true, it's correct, because they've done this research, they've done that research. It's the fact about the light, the fields of the universe. If you listen to scientific papers and a lot of work of a lot of other scientists who never understood the true physics of the light, they tell us you cannot bend the light. And then they measure how light next to some stars bends. And then they try to prove it. But you knowledge seekers, with what you know, you understand from the book number 2 that the light is, or has two characteristics. Is a photon or is a ray. And when it's a ray, because of the smaller, more powerful center, moves faster, and then in one point interacts and releases its energy. We see it as light. As a photon has a plasma inside it, which interacts with a planet which is passing, so it creates what we call magnetic field positioning, and it bends it. But then in balance of the fields of the universe travels to destination, which is your eye, your equipment you're trying to detect. But this brings you to a fantastic point. If you know where I'm going, you travel to another position in the universe with a system, with your soul, which is a ray, or a system like UFO, which is a photon. And then what happened to you? Do you bend across every galaxy, every star, every planet you are traveling to? Or do you directly go there in a, what I call nowadays, for example, when you go from Beijing to New York, you go up, you don't bend anywhere, you land on the other side, an upper atmosphere or higher levels distance from the Earth. How does your soul travel? When you go to see the soul of the grandma, which was at the level of a very good lady, did a lot of good things, and became a center of a star, beginning of a seed, some 50 years ago, and now it's the size of a, what do you call it, a football, and it's in its way to grow up to become a star as it gathers more energy. But you know, it's the soul of the grandma or your mother. How do you get there? Do you bend it like Beckham, or do you go to it directly? Does your soul twist and turn in the universe till you get there, like a Formula One racing around the bends of the course? And what happens if you lose control and you smash into the wall, or you end up in another galaxy around the universe? This cannot be, it's never happened, and it will never happen if one knows what is in the hand of the man. So, if you understand the process of the interaction of the soul, and you have to bend it to get there, and we see it, all the knowledge about the light travels on a straight line, goes right to the wall. This is important for you as knowledge seekers in the strength of dimension of travel in dimension of the soul or physicality. In the space travels of the future, with the structure and the systems we develop, in having a non-dimensional plasma reactors like a sun, and we manage to control them in a star formation position, which create literally 3 stars in the base and a star on the top, but no container, no reactors, but field forces of them, keeps the interaction and creates a dimension of the, what we call a space of magnetic fields, which you can live in as a, what we call UFOs. Then it comes for you to understand something important. Is or has or will your soul or your UFO of your creation by plasmas will bend, will dive, will go through? Would it travel on a straight line or bend somewhere when it needs to? Does your soul act as a ray and the UFO as a photon? And would the future of the man reaches a point to, in a way, collectively create interaction of the souls, which become one of the, what we call plasmas of a star formation, or collective transportation of the souls from one point to another, and maybe through the creation of that, carrying the soul of the others. Interesting point, as I pointed out to some scientists years ago, is the reactors inside a UFO, an aircraft, or whatever, are inside the system. They're not outside the system. In a jet plane, we see the, what we call the jet engines and the wings. We know where they are because they're physically outside. But when you look at the structure of the, what you call UFOs in the star formation, which many of us have seen it, when we look underneath, there are 3 lights in the triangular formation. They're inside. How come we see them from outside? How come we are aware of their manifestation there? What happens? And what haven't we understood about this? Maybe for the first time, you come to realize how come we see these lights not outside the structure, but they're inside the structure. And how come we are aware of their existence as a light? Do these systems have a containment, a reactor, which the fields goes beyond the boundary of the reactor and create this light? Or is a single plasma which has created this light. And in dimension of the dynamic plasma, it bends it somewhere, it connects it to somewhere else, and in some places needs to be delivering a straight, what we call field strength, move as a light. And there is no reactor inside. There is no containment. This goes back to some teachings some years ago, where I explained, and in the recent past few weeks, I explained that the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers team are reaching a point of creating reactors without dimension. And we have seen it. We have seen in that interaction, without any motors, anything running, the weight of the larger scales moves up and down in kilograms, and some other points appears, and some other effects we see, and we can measure. This brings us to a point that in creating the new line of the interaction of the cosmic rays with these non-dimensional reactors within the structure of the soul of the man as a dynamic plasma, or as a flying unit, as you call it, UFO, what game would the cosmic rays play? Would we design, would we understand that these engines, these souls, can interact with two energies at the same time? Two line of reaction. And then it comes to understand furthermore that a straight line, what we call rays, is primarily made of hydrogen. And those lights, which are like a photon, carry carbon combination with the hydrogen, which is in a way carbon 14 or carbon 60 energy backtracking on the field of the hydrogen, and in a way has a higher strength. And when it passes the star, because of its gravitational magnetic field, it has to create magnospheric positioning or magra positioning. Then you can explain as a simple man, as a housewife, or as a child in the school to your physics teacher, that the reason some rays bend around the planetary system is as they are part of the cosmic rays, and those which don't carry higher order energy with little field interaction, but all in the field strength of the motion of the plasma. Once man understands this, then you understand why we see galaxies rotating and creating light, and all the light is not shine like a torch on Earth, but is dispersed across the universe, confirming the existence of a plasma which holds hundreds of millions of stars within it. One day man will understand. As we see the galaxies, as we see the solar system, like our solar system, with sun in the middle, but in its plasma, there are many bits called Earth and the others, and in the bigger dimension, we see the galaxies with hundreds of billions of stars within it. Once man educates itself and goes out of this universe in the part of Unicos and look back at our universe, you will see the same. A big dish with a lot of bits in it, and all emit light at a different field strength that confirm the existence and the position of the galaxies, and God knows the whole structure within that universe. Nowadays, we look at our solar system. We haven't managed to get out of it yet fully to take a picture of it to see how it looks. But we take a picture of the galaxies and we see how they rotate and all those systems inside it. When a man manages in the coming time to go outside this universe, you will see the same structure but in a different dimension as of our universe within the universe. And then the fields of the light of what we call cosmic become what we call universal light, because these are the lights from the universes. It becomes a universe light. These lights are slightly different than the lights we are used to as cosmic ray. These lights are slightly different that we are used to as a light. Colors are slightly different because more magnetic field powers are in interaction than the weaker one. And then the enlightenment becomes totally different. Once man become the child of the universe as a unicos, the level of understanding and the knowledge will change because a higher order intelligence, higher order fields come into play. Now, why I brought this subject up is because as many of you have started going through this, what we call dimension of the travel of the soul, which is yours, no one can touch, no one can control. You can't donate it to anyone. You can become part of somebody else's field. We will observe, when we become wise to it, a dimension of the enlightenment and the light which we have denied ourselves. We shall see in the field. We shall see how the cosmic rays is absorbed by this body, by the soul, and how the soul travels in the dimension of the, what we call the ray. Our physical dimension, as I said, absorbs 80% of its energy from environment, and primarily most of these are cosmic rays. They are photons, and they are not cosmic lights, which is singular in a field of strength with the central acceleration, which man has not managed to understand yet. But in some cases, when the cosmic rays become part you, then you understand how you, if open the dimension of the absorption of higher order fields, get enlightened, understand more. In a way, you are in a dark room and the torch is in your hand. If it's running out of battery and dim, you see very little. If you increase the power of the battery, you see more and the lights becomes more powerful and you see more of the room. What's in it? And you become aware of the knowledge of what you have in front of you. It's the same with the enlightenment. If you learn to absorb, you learn to switch the soul of the man with the light of the rays of the hydrogen, you will see more, because it has no dimension. As long as you stay absorber of the, what we call cosmic rays, which includes the carbon-14 and 60 and all these combinations, then you have that dim light. You are in the dimension of physicality. You are not clear to see the totality of the light, which comes directly from the soul of the Creator. The true enlightenment. And nobody can control your soul. Nobody can deny your access. Nobody, it's not for sale in the market. And as some people say, he's going to get your soul and he's telling you lies. The only lies you say is to yourself, because you are the control of it. You have to decide the enlightenment. You have to decide how much of the information in front of me in this room I want to see, and how much I want to make the light dimmer to, in a way, conceal my own ignorance and lack of understanding. Then, if you understood all this, you understand the lights, which is on the line of what we call hydrogen, the primary light, which is the light from the Creator, does not bend for nothing. No galaxy, no star, no universe, and no universe. And if you understand that, it means your soul is connected directly to the soul of the Creator, in the line of the strength of His interaction and understanding of you from the dimension of your own existence. And then you substitute it by the, what I call, division of the division of the fraction of the division of the occlusion of the light which is started. You receive part of it as a connection to the soul of the Creator, as a cosmic rays to feed your physicality. Then you understand, if man reaches the point of purity, and if you manage to bring enough souls to collectively to interact, then you can make a UFO, which is destination would be the soul of the Creator. Then you will understand how to answer that professor from MIT, which light bends, which light goes straight, and the reason for it, and the sharpness of it, and the strength of it, and what it carries dictates how it bends, as the soul of the Creator never bends and carries nothing but the love of the Creator. This will come to bite you if you don't understand it, and try to be the traveler of the, what we call, the universe and the universe. And the more you understand this about yourself, about your soul, that no one can control it, there are no prophets, there are no rabbis, there are no churches and mosques in the universe. And we have that as evidence that NASA, which we believe in everything they tell us, they've seen many galaxies, they found many stars and planetary systems, but none of them up to now have reported any churches and mosques and synagogues in the universe. So the fallacy of the belief has come with a man's lack of understanding of the creation. And this will bring man to the point of demise if man does not understand his own potential, his own connection to the line of the creation, and how much he likes to bend it to get there. But you have to understand, even the cosmic rays, if you go down the line, connect to the soul of the Creator, but in a less attachment, less carbon field strings attached to it. But you have to understand, now you understood about the soul of the man and the soul of physicality. In a space, you become aware of the same position, aligned to the soul of the Creator, and aligned to the interaction of the soul of the Creator with its own fields in the dimension of the fields of the universe, the dimension of physicality. In a way, I feed you from the center, but you can play and eat a little bit here and there as you like in dimension of physicality. Be it eating from the energies of the universe or the knowledge which has come from their interaction. As knowledge seekers, you, as I always say, you have no choice. If you are in a position and you're gradually becoming to the point of traveling without the physicality, which a number of knowledge seekers now report to us they can do, then you go to the next step of maturity. Try to connect to the line of the soul of the Creator. Then every knowledge in the universe is at your disposal. There is no limitation in the knowledge. And nobody can slave you or those who pretend to say yourself. Anybody who tells you they are trying to control your soul, it means I am trying to control your soul because they are making it free. As is said in the intro, you have to decide. You have to understand there is no possession and there is no control except your intelligence in understanding the truth about yourself and your creation. And this brings you to the next level of knowledge. And in the past few minutes, I explained in a soft way, but in the future, we go into it in a much deeper way. How to understand what you receive as a line of the connection of the fields of the universe with your creator, and how you receive the soul from the soul of physicality of the universe as cosmic rays to, in a way, confirm your existence in the dimension of physicality. In a very simple way, you're like that puppet in the show, held by two strings. And you're that puppet hanging on the bottom of that string. One which controls the head and the whole body, which is the rays to the creator. And the ones which twist and turns your legs and body and arms to say, this is what I am. But in fact, the central beam holds you there to show you are there. And when the guy let the frame go, the puppet collapses on the floor. The end. And it's your job to keep that line of connection at all times. Does not matter in the dimension of physicality of the man, or the dimension of physicality on the moon, or a passenger of a space in the universe. You have to understand the difference between the two and keep that line, which is the line to the creator and does not bend, always on focus. Don't believe none and don't trust none except your own judgment, because when you believe and you trust, you manifest yourself at that time and place and position in the dimension of physicality. Be it you going home while you're sitting in the office, doing the cooking, food ready before the physicality arrives, or going back to the point of birth and feeling the whole process of a womb of mother to birth tunnel and to be born and the whole rest of it. Birth in two dimensions and two directions. One, the birth through understanding the knowledge of creation, and one birth in understanding the process of physicality of birth in the dimension of this planet. One interesting point for many of you knowledge seekers and your children will be, are there any delivery rooms in the universe to deliver your child? Or you have to go through the process of the birth in the universe, the same as your ancestors did, or the modernized in the hospital, which there is none in the universe. Then you can come to understand the children of the man in a space will be children of the soul, where the interaction of the fields of the emotion of the love of physicality and the love of creator in interaction with another of the same love and fields with a dimension of physicality will lead to the creation of new life without any delivery notes and without any delivery rooms, as it takes its shape and process of its creation in the dimension of the fields of the love of the two parents and the environment of the universe. Teaching the soul of the new infant of the soul of the man in the space will be very different than what we do on this planet. In the coming time, man will come to understand, as the speed of the process of knowledge is becoming faster, how one by one of you understands the dimension of existence of your own soul, using technologies which we have developed to, in a way, exercise and train yourself, that when you go outside, You don't become prisoner to no magician. And in any way, in a coming time, once man understands the interaction of the fields, and man stops killing, destroying another life, as he knows it itself can become part of it, a fool, as I always say, shoots himself in the foot and tries to win a marathon. This marathon, the winning point, winning post, is reaching the soul of the Creator. And the man shooting himself in the foot is trying to stick to the dimension of physicality on the way, on the path of the cosmic rays. In the coming time, and especially in Sanya, we will show the difference in the dimension of these two rays. We bring into operation some of you who can reach or have reached that point will see the rays of the light as a ray which in a way is visible to your soul, and dimension of physicality cannot be manifest itself because it's too weak. And on the other hand, you feel the dimension of the field of the cosmic rays, that part of it might enlighten your soul, increases what we call field strength and bring you to a new dimension. We are a scientific organization and not rabbis and priests and mullahs and Mehdi and the rest. Everything has to have a scientific base. Everything has to be scientifically shown and proven, even though sometimes it might take a little bit longer than others because our scientists have to understand what the path is, and then even they understand it, they have to show it to you that your knowledge understands there is such a thing. And that thing is me. Next time, those of you who stand in front of the system in Sanya, don't look what's inside it. Look what you're absorbing and what enlightenment you receive. And how the rays which are near the field strength of the cosmic rays and the strength of the fields of the Creator has enlightened you. If you come to Sanya and you try to see matters and materials, you're still doomed to the dimension of physicality. If you next time stand near these systems and look for enlightenment within yourself, then you understand you have become true knowledge seeker. Seeking knowledge for betterment of the soul of you and nobody else, as once you're enlightened and become knowledgeable in that field, you become part of the others, correct, just, and by the deeds of Mitra and Mehran. And then you understand even how what we call creation of the prophets confirmed the existence of the Creator has become mysticism and the rest. Where the descendant of Mehran became Mitra. And then in March of another, we became to believe in, and we converted in different names and shapes and forms to show how much we want to hide the beauty within us, which is in our soul. When you come to Sanya, when you stand in front of the systems and you look for materials, you look for weight reduction, not one thing. You have not become a true knowledge seeker. Because it's the story of the Maghreb and the meager electricity, or understanding within the system, you are enlightened to receive, to open your own soul to the dimension of the creation. And we are just the facilitators. We are just the teachers who knows how to bring the blackboard and the pen. And it's you who has to write the words, the sentence, and the knowledge on the board of your soul. And then you will understand. When you come to Sanya, as many of you did, when you came to The first exhibition center in Linz, we put 3 stacker units, 3 vertical units, and some of you stood in the middle to see what you feel. This time when you come to Sanya, we bring you 3 systems. Stand in between. And then see what enlightenment you receive. What is set in the dimension of physicality of this earth, what is set to be the soul of the physicality of the man, and what operates totally in the dimension of the soul of the man. And then you decide what you see, what you understand, and how your intellect changes and evolves while in that area. We give you system, headphones, to connect to 1 or 2. But in a way, when you stand in between the 3, find out truly about yourself and see where in the dimension of universe you can travel to. What knowledge you'll see, and maybe some of you would like to see the soul of the Moses or Christ or Muhammad or whatever, or maybe even the soul of your future child, in what you are putting in. And would there be another which matches the love of you for the Creator? That's the time when you find a match, if the true lover is of the same essence. In the dimension of the soul, we don't fall in love with the physicality and with the beauty of the eyes and lips and how good you are in one thing or another, but we fall in love with the purity of the soul, how close is, how much has managed to unravel the secret of the closeness to the Creator. And that strength, if it's ours, we match. And a new child will be born, that in the future that child become better than you, to become closer to the Creator. That is the true heaven, and not what the man imagined. As I said, step by step, we teach without our knowledge seekers knowing, even our research team, preparing everything for that final point. Even they think they put something together, but they are working on the same course which is set. You can in different shape or form in lens, and you stood between the 3 static condition, just what the fields could flow. In Sanya, I put you to face your own soul, understand your own strength, and with it, change the future of your life by elevation and no slavery, and never accept no one's word about the Creator as you establish your own line of connection with the whole world of creation. The systems are very much dynamic, as is the universe and creation of the fields. Search in it for what I call wisdom, and don't come in it what I'm going to see. As long as you come, but don't forget, I'm a very good magician. I set up everything to distract you, that you don't see, you don't understand it, what I call the process set up for you. I give you a system to make you gold, and I give you a system to make you gas, and I show you a system to make protein, and you get all baffled by what you see. But you know how the magician works. Distracts for you now to see the true magic. And this is what you look for in Sanya. And it will be the only time we'll show this, till we'll see the full transmutation in the beautiful city of Isfahan later on this year. And then you understand why we invited you to China, and why we brought you into the land of what they call yin and yin. Balance. For you to find a balance in your soul, that you're ready to go through the process of transmutation of your soul, and not the dimension of physicality. As you decide on the point of arrival, what shape, color, race, language, and in which shape or form, as a cat, dog, matter of space, and maybe an alien. Now you walk to your child and look like an alien and tell your child, this is daddy. It's like, as you've seen many times, when the daddy shaves his beard and mustache, the babies don't recognize. And they have a problem to recognize this is that. And I wonder, when you manifest yourself in a dimension of the new physicality with your loved ones, like those babies sitting on the sofa watching you with a shaven beard and mustache, even inside is you, but the appearance is different and they don't recognize and they cry because you don't exist in that dimension. This will become part of your life. And in a way, when you appear in that dimension, whatever, you don't need what I call blonding your hair, shaving your mustache, the rest of it, and painting yourself a bit browner or whiter and keep on shouting, this is me. It's just I blonded myself and I shaved myself. Then the true, what I call witness, watcher, knows he changed the hair color, but the physicality, the soul is the soul. I know as dad, as a mother, as a friend. And then building a trust. And then understanding the totality. This is the transmutation time, not transportation time. And you have to understand transmutation does not always has to end up in the dimension of physicality unless you wish for. You transfer and transport your physicality, but you transmute your soul. And nobody's in control of it. Nobody's selling it, nobody's buying it, and all the rubbish you heard, they want to control your soul. Tell them you don't even understand what a soul is, let alone controlling it. And you're not connected to no one. There is no affiliation, there is no union, there is no faith, and there is nothing. And if you go back to the teaching of Mehran, was that way. And if you don't know who Mehran is, it's not me. Mehran is the forefathers of Mitra. The first time man ever believed in the belief of Creator. And he was there long time before even Mitra appeared. In another word, you know Mehran as Abraham. And Abraham in the Abrahism path of belief is Mehran in the culture of Iran, where Abraham was copied from. Abraham was copied from Mehran because every indication we have in history is the first path of belief, and the way it was set for man to manifest itself, believe in itself in the Creator and not any other thing. And those of you who understand the history of religion, you will understand Mer, the first prophet, the first messenger to understand the creation of the Creator, which then it became Abraham in Arabic language in the Middle East, is the beginning of the understanding the process of Creator. And now the same name appears, this time to show how the man not to make the mistakes of the past thousands of years. Name is not coincidence, but understanding the knowledge in a way to go back to the Creator is the same in essence of the knowledge and creation. But you have to understand how your fields work as a ray or as cosmic ray. Are you a photon denying the line of the light, the essence of creation which you are traveling on? Or you can detach yourself from the photon and become the light, which nothing can stop and never bends to no one, as is the will of the Creator. One day, in the very near future, as many of you are getting prepared and understand your soul, will take this step and bring us a lot of stories, as we did with you in Linz, and it's still going on. I hope I open your eyes to a new dimension, new understanding, and then you go forward with it to the next step, to the next understanding, and enlighten yourself to the truth of the creation and nothing else. Don't accept no one as a prophet. Accept your own understanding of the creation, which brings profit to you to understand your own creator. We create the systems for you to do that. Sanya will be one of the most beautiful times when those up there will feel it, will understand how the essence of the three levels of the soul of physicality, and what they call the physicality, will manifest, interact with every part of you when you stand in the middle of the tree system. When I stood in front of our system yesterday, I thought I don't need to tell anything physically. I give the knowledge in the soul, and the soul makes a dimension of physicality. And it's wonderful how you transfer knowledge through the soul, and you see it in a physical dimension. And many of you will be amazing what will be shown in what I call Sanya. Next 2 weeks, if you understand it, otherwise you come to see a gas production and you come to see a metal production, then you say this guy knows something, and that shows your ignorance, lack of understanding of what we are about, what is about to happen. Or you come in there and say, I'm enlightened. I don't need to feel it. I just know the knowledge is transferred. And I've seen the light of my own creator, understand the path to it. And don't need no religion, no prophet, and no Mehdi, and the rest of it. We go for a break, and we come back, and we have a beautiful announcement for many of you, because it'll bring a lot of changes into the structure of the Keshe Foundation, and many of you working and being around us. Thank you very much, Rick. If you can take us through a break, and then we come back. We have to finish around about 11:30, quarter to 12 today. So we have a short second part. Thank you very much, Rick. If you want to take us through a break.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Okay, we'll have our usual commercial break here and be back shortly. This is the 527th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, February 29th, 2024.
the new Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a plasma-space technology to prepare humanity for transportation and transmutation in deep space. Essential processes are embedded to prevent mutations and psychosomatic conditions during deep space travel. This new system is designed to support upper body conditions, especially of the lungs and intestines, and can be targeted specifically for each organ. When inside the Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the body experiences balance in totality, enabling it to correct and rebalance all the fields within itself. The new Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a dimension in health and transportation never seen before. The revolutionary new Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit is due to be launched in June 2022, and in the same year is expected to fly passengers into space, to the moon and beyond for a day or even several days at a time. There is no need for the Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit to carry food or medicine, as it is equipped with the latest space technology for transportation, transmutation and deep space operation. This extraordinary breakthrough technology ushers in a new era of travel without the need of fuel, food, or medicine, even during the longest excursions into deep space. Each spaceship unit has a 4-passenger capacity for long or short duration flights and has the capability to travel between cities on Earth in a matter of seconds to minutes, depending on the distance and speed. This ability to traverse massive distance in such incredibly short time is not just a breakthrough for human transport, it also completely revolutionizes the transportation of goods and cargo and will rapidly overcome the need for one of our most polluting practices, namely marine shipping, as it finally breaks us free not only from the combustion of heavy diesel, but from the combustion of any fuel for propulsion in the future. The Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a new paradigm in space travel, space medicine, and space technology.
Okay, we're back again at the 527th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here. And because this is the second half, we do get to ask some questions of Mr. Keshe, but I think he'll have a few things to say before we begin that process. So go ahead, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the first part. And now that we come to the second part, I hope it'll be more interesting. As you know, we have set out and we become part of what we call one nation, one planet, one race. This means we are responsible for each other as one nation. As we've seen, if, for example, there is a flood in China, all the Chinese forces get together to help and to help their own nationals. Now, as one nation, we are responsible for the whole of the citizens of this planet. And when a time of emergency comes, we have to respond. The second Keshe Foundation responsibility to respond. We see the end of the present regime in what we call Tel Aviv or Jerusalem or wherever they call it. And we see a new structure arises in Israel. As a knowledge seekers, you came here to learn, and you learned that we are one nation. And as part of our responsibility is to feed and supply medicine to these people. And I had a laughing and sorrow position this week, which I explain and you understand. For past 2-3 weeks, we are working on trying to get to open channels through a couple of governments to support the, not the Palestinians, but people who live in Palestine and they are under heavy bombardment, no food, no water, no medicine. And I traveled to Vienna on Monday to meet with the representative of the Palestinian government to open the door that the Keshe Foundation with its technology can deliver to what you join us on third week of each month, and the group of Chinese will join us tomorrow for the second session of the system testing to deliver food and medicine through lines to Palestine, that there will be no hunger and we can support the ill people, the sick people with everything possible, from painkillers to antibiotics to latest medicine, which Keshe Foundation has at disposal, directly to the hospitals. Nobody can distort, stop the delivery. You have a mobile phone, you can reach us from Palestine and be fed, be given medicine. And don't forget, this has been part of the ethos of the Keshe Foundation. We want to feed the man in space. We have to support man in time of trouble. I traveled to Vienna to see, prior going to see the what we call Palestinian delegation. I made a call to them that I'm coming to meet, to see, to find a solution. The first question was asked when I said I want to help. How much money do you want to give us? We give you an account number. I said, this is not what I'm calling for. There is an email. Send us an email and explain. I sent an email and I traveled to Vienna. They won't even open the door of the commission. We are here only to collect money. If you want to help with anything, go to Red Cross. I said, but it's your nation. Oh, we have nothing to do with that. I went in the car and I said, what a sorrow. That this is not a war, this is money mongering. And I set out to get in touch with different group of Palestinians and different routes. We are establishing a line. And the knowledge seekers who know are close to us in past few days and couple of weeks been busy making all the materials and everything ready to support, to feed the Palestinians on the line. We said it does. We have to deliver because it does. We said we deliver food to man in space, medicine man to space. Now is an emergency. We have to deliver into Gaza. From Monday, Keshe Foundation opens a line. We can accommodate up to 80,000 people to use the line at the present time. All the material for it will be ready by Sunday night. We open a Zoom link and a telephone number line that anyone from Palestine, from Gaza Strip, can dial through satellites freely and access food and access medicine. Your knowledge seekers donated to us money, your time. Now we need your donation to spend time to find the Palestinians in corners of Gaza that we can reach to. Find Palestinians who know, who have places, or have people who need help, and we are there to do. The telephone line and the Zoom line will go on front of the Keshe Foundation website, keshe.foundation, that only Palestinians can come in. Don't forget, don't come in to test if it works. You could affecting the life of a man who needs it in Gaza. You know Palestinian doctors. You have connection to groups who have access to people under fire. Give them the telephone number and let them test it. We have made a feast of fish, meat, and chicken, and vegetables, and bananas, antibiotics, painkillers, anti-inflammatory, and everything else we could to be available on Monday morning. You claim to be a knowledge seeker. It's a time of disaster. It's your responsibility. We still need donations for the funding of this project in hundreds of thousands. We can bear as much as we can. But we need the time. We need you to find Palestinians that gradually builds up. In a month time, we should be able to add to 1 million Palestinian support. If we see anyone comes from different lines, we disconnect you, we block you, and you block from all activities of the Keshe Foundation in any teaching. Our team is ready, and the material which gone into production, but our knowledge seekers will be ready by Sunday night. Monday morning, 9 o'clock, Central European time, we open the lines. Do not come in. Try to find as many Palestinians in Gaza, not Palestinians somewhere else, or not somebody who's sick in New York and is looking for, you have all the facilities. Go and look with your doctors on the food. This is set up for emergency. It's not there to be stolen from. It takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of work to get this sorted, to be done. And don't forget, we are on the verge of going into conference in Sanya, and this is additional burden on our team, but we have accepted it because we had to take that step. Israelis with the sharpshooters are shooting the doctors, that the sick people die because of it. Not ever in any war, even in the Second World War, the genocide of the doctors and medical people have taken place except in the state of Israel today. Deliberately shooting doctors, deliberately destroying hospitals. As we said, this technology should be there equal to every man in the remotest part of this planet. As I said, we introduced the carbon 14, we introduced the cosmic rays, we introduced Magram system, and now is the time to deliver the technology where it's needed. There are hundreds of thousands of children sleeping hungry because of one man heinous act. There are hundreds of thousands of people wounded, which cannot even get access to a paracetamol to reduce their pain or antibiotic to stop the infection which can kill. We have to test this knowledge, and today is the time. Keshe Foundation is ready. It's your job to find the people. I have done everything and I still do everything to connect to as many lines with the Palestinians. But once it takes hold and people see the result and the effect, it will become a virus. But still, you will not use it because my brother is hungry or my sister has a pain which never been sorted. Now I use Keshe Foundation. I tell you why it doesn't work. It doesn't carry our soul, and I shall not sleep. The lines will be opened from Monday, 10 o'clock Central European Time. The first step, if every Palestinian uses for 15 minutes a day to receive the materials they need, and they time themselves accordingly to same time, same hour every day, it could be a family of 4 or 5, we can accommodate 80,000 Palestinians a day with our present system. The Zoom channel does not accept more than 1,000 people at a time. So we expect it to build up. And if you can create, connect with the Palestinians, doesn't matter where you are, find a Palestinian group who is active, but it's not just a bunch of Europeans shouting, what about Gaza? But the Palestinians who have connection into Gaza that you can give them the number and let them try. And then they give it to each other. Our IT team will put everything together to be fully operational. We are short of a few materials which is supposed to be delivered by tomorrow night, plus another bunch of materials to be delivered by Sunday morning that will be brought in to our central operation. And we are there to deliver the power of the technology. And we need your help. Donate your time to us to find, to create connection. Go on the internet, see how you can make lines establishing with people in Gaza, give them the number, give them the connection, explain to them what to do, and leave the rest to us. Our job is to share knowledge equally and technology equally by all men. And we are there to stand the test of time. We are not ashamed to fail. We are ashamed not to be able to help, even we have the technology. It's taken us time to reach that point that we can do this, we can support this, and in so many ways, now is all of us in it. The way you Germans got together and raised money to send 3 people to Sanya, get together, find ways to open channels that you can give just this number to the Palestinians. And not to your uncles and your son, I had a pain, I just went in for a few minutes. Our soul is not in it, and you will not find any remedy in it. The same with the Italians, the same with the rest. If you're Jewish and you really believe in what you believe, you know where to find the Palestinians and you have some friends. Open the line to help them. There is no helpline for the Jews. You have the best hospitals, kill yourselves in. We have announced and delivered this support to the Palestinians in Gaza, and to the officials in the Iranian government, and to the American government. We are not doing anything but to help those who need. And one day somebody might come and tell you, I saved, I had no pain, I received food through a telephone line because you're a knowledge seeker and you made it possible. I can provide the technology and I can make it accessible to the souls. It's you who have to do the next step. Please get in touch, open the channels, use the telephone number and a Zoom number, give to the Palestinians and tell them you're in Gaza, use it, feed yourself, receive the antibiotics and the rest of it, and there is no charge. It is absolutely free. And once this dilemma is over, we switch the line off. And we report to you if one person, 100 people, 1,000 people have used the line. Our failure is your failure because you have to establish these lines. You donated thousands to Keshe Foundation. You supported us in everywhere and every shape. Now we call for your donation of time and bringing people not to die. In a way, what I said to a knowledge seeker, we become technology without frontiers for food and medicine. And I hope you as knowledge seekers can support this. We will see the action, we will see what the response comes. We are doing our best ourselves in the background because the Palestinian government, so-called, is not prepared to help their own people unless we pay them cash in their accounts they can put in their pocket. As we hear, head of Hamas has 5 billion cash in his private account and sitting in the most luxurious places in the world. We have a little money, but we can do a lot. We still need huge financial support to go into 1 million and plus, and maintain and support this support to the Palestinians. And God knows, maybe next one will be earthquake, a flood, a tsunami in your country, and people around the world learn this number is there for SOS, for food and medicine and energy, and even psychological damages which these things bring. I thank you in advance, and we are doing everything I can, everything Keshe Foundation team can, and as knowledge seekers, it is your responsibility, has been your wish to be one planet, one nation, and this one nation is in dying need to support 1 million children, women, and old people who have, out of no fault of themselves, trapped in this. Thousands of children have been killed. Thousands of women has been killed. The mothers, children who will be brought up in the next 30, 40 years without a mother. Fathers will suffer with the image and memories of the children which bombs paid by the Americans to kill. One day, the justice will be served, and that day will be very soon. It's not just the Israeli Prime Minister, which has to go to The Hague and a life sentence. It has to be those who supported it, provided it, and supplied it to create such a murder. One day you'll understand when I say the end of the nation, the end of the race of Moses has come because they do it with their own hand. During the Second World War, the Jews hid their signs and names and everything not to be killed. This time they hide it and forget about it because they're ashamed of it to be. I thank you very much for trying to help us. Don't come to us and say, I found this group, these are the people. Get in touch with them. Find out, don't give them to anyone. They're connected directly to Palestinians in Gaza. We can feed them. We can deliver medicine to them. And just tell them, we put a manual in Arabic and English that you just give them a link. We give them instruction how to use the headphones, the way to use it, and everything else will be there. They read the instruction and they do it. The Arabic speaking group, Jalal and your people, support us to do the translation, support us to have the papers, everything ready for Monday. Then you don't need to explain. They'll come to a link. That link, There'll be a page with Arabic, English, to explain what to do, what number to use, how to use it, to receive the needs of the man, every right of the man, to water, to energy, as food, and to medicine. We have not entered the world of medicine. We provide the medicine which is available in the science of the man to the man as an energy, and we do not need license because it is counter-based and it's scientifically based. We deliver the energy of it. And we have a technology to do it. We've done it and we know exactly how it works. It will be a pleasure to be able to save even one life, to take one soul out of the physical pain with the systems. And it's your responsibility. You're yearning to become one nation. This is the beginning of opening the Keshe Foundation internationally to those who understand. And in the future, it becomes that 999 you dial for ambulance, for a doctor. That 999 you dial, or 111 you dial, or 11213 in Europe you dial to get the emergency services to help you. You get emergency help to feed you. Maybe after the Gaza situation, we become the source of feeding those who are homeless and the rest of it. And we need a huge amount of financial support. If we are not allowing, and the way we are, any government to dictate to us in how to develop the next structure of one nation, one planet, one race. You've been here a long time, and Gaza is our test. You're not only start the beginning of the one race, one nation because you're a Jew, you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, you're a Sunni, Shia, Buddhist. Doesn't count. Humans, children are suffering. That child of 1 year old has no religion and believe in no God because he doesn't come to understand the fallacies of the man. We ask for your support to spend your time, support us, to bring us to that position. I have to go offline, this is important, and I'll come back, please.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Okay, well, we may have a few minutes here to kind of put together some of the questions, perhaps. We see there's a number of questions in our Q&A here. We have about 5 lined up there. And we have a hand up with Mehran ready to go as well. We also have a question from the meeting in the Keshe Plasma Reactor group yesterday as well. I asked the members whether they could put together, formulate a question for the Knowledge Seekers workshop. Gail had a good question, which I hope to ask later, regarding communication with other beings of the universe using the plasmatic magnetic fields. All right, well, I've got a short, snappy movie to play for 1.5 minutes here, since we may need to take up some time. Mr. Keshe is on an important phone call. I believe this video is from Ed. And
I'm back.
Oh, you're back. Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. Thank you very much. As I said, our team, I was waiting for this call, has been in negotiation with some of us powerful nations at the highest level, and they just came out of the meeting. And the news is good. And we will see the future collaboration with one of the powerful nuclear nations of the world, as they agreed to support the Keshe Foundation in many aspects, as I told you. Knowledge Security works in a different way, and the support foundation in this meeting this morning has been very crucial for the future of the Keshe Foundation, receiving the support of the government, and has been agreed, and we'll see what the future brings. I thank our team and all the work, and especially the guy who's been there and had to go through the process. And they're highly emotional, and we'll speak later on after the teaching and see how we can set up the next course for Keshe Foundation as part of his work, his international work. What I ask you, please consider, and don't wait, I'll do it tomorrow. Try to find not even directly on the internet, Palestinian companies, factories, offices in Gaza who used to be on their phone, it still works. Try to get in touch with them one by one, reach. And from Monday we get in touch with, is the job of what we call the Arabic speaking, that you can speak to Gaza direct, to help us. If you have a problem, you cannot explain in Arabic to what they don't understand fully, get the support of the Arabic community of the Keshe Foundation to support you for communication with them. As I said, this is a test of time. We put ourselves out to be tested. We are not afraid of failure. We are hoping that even if we can get one person out of pain, one child out of hunger, we have served our purpose at the beginning of another step. And we have to see what is and what we can do. We need your donation of time. We need your donation of supporting us now that we are reaching completion of system. We don't need your soul. We are not enslaving your soul. We need your time, physical time, to help the other peoples not to suffer in dimension of physicality. I thank you for it. As I said, we need the donation of time. If you support us donation by financially to build the next system to support another 100,000, 200,000, we thank you for it. We have to do it. But if we reach that target of 80,000 a day, then we need to be ready for it to support the next 80,000. System has a certain limit, and we need to back it up. Our team takes a few weeks to build up the next system to support it, and it costs a huge amount of money to build the systems. We have a dedicated team who actually are there every day to see the advancement of the technology, and I thank them, especially our team in Austria, relentlessly developing, working, changing things every minute, so versatile. Even some of them are of the Arab background. I thank them for all their work. The other part of the call is our from the wellness center in Germany. The doctors tell us, due to the success on what they had with the emotional and some psychosomatics, they will accept 20 cases of fibromyalgia, depression, for very small amounts to support their expenses and everything else, to be tested to finalize this section of the work, to confirm and to complete. So if you have a fibromyalgia, or you suffer from clinical conditions of the depression, get in touch with them and see if they can help you through the wellness center. It's not a medical, but it's a change of the wellness, and has been successful in these two sections. We want to complete it, that in a way, hopefully after this, the first scientific report on the working of the system through this part will be published by them. I thank the people in Germany, they put their life online and everything else. And after 20 cases accepted, we close the whole thing for them. They close their sessions. And we need that. And they have put a charge of like, I think 5,000 or 10,000 per case. Has to be done, and once we accept it, we stop it, because we like to expand the more extensive depth of knowledge in other cases. This is a wellness, and how you, through wellness, change your behavior and the conditions. As usual, you send an email to the wellness in Germany, or through us, we send it to them, and the doctors will take over. This is out of the part of the Keshe Foundation. We supply the technology and understanding. The whole thing is run by the doctors and the scientists behind it. If there are any questions to answer, we are here.
Yes, first, Gail asks, what is the Gaza phone number? Is that going to be given out publicly, like, or how do people
go back on the Keshe Foundation, sometimes on Sunday or Monday. We are still preparing. We have to be sure everything is there before we open the line. We already have, we can release it now, but we are going into more detail that everything is 100% correct. If we get a flood, the system doesn't crash. We have enough material in the background to support. As I said, we announce it, go on Monday on a Keshe Foundation, put Gaza, you will come to it, or Palestine. We are trying to create an email called Palestine at Keshe Foundation that allows you to communicate, people communicate, and we need Arab speaking knowledge seekers to respond to these requests from Palestine. We could release the numbers and everything, but we have to make sure our systems are in a full operational condition by Monday morning, that we don't fail and then become sorry, this and that. Mm-hmm. And just please go on, hopefully, Keshe Foundation on Monday morning, and the number, because the Zoom sometimes allows numbers to come in. We try to set that up because Palestinians cannot go and log into the Zoom and then come in. Some can come in through the Zoom. And the instruction of how to use the headsets by the doctors and by people will be explained there. Means already we have it, it'll be pinned up there for them to use it. And they connect directly. Do not take more than 15 minutes to half an hour and leave the line. You can come back later on in the afternoon if you're hungry to do it again, or you have more pain coming, you can come in to use it, but we can allow 80,000 use a day at the moment. Possibly we can increase it to 160,000, but that again brings another dimension of pressure financially, which we cannot afford at the moment. We need huge financial support to support these things. And we start with little, and then we come to you if we go under pressure, or nobody get in touch with us. We done our work, but it's your job to bring awareness. And then maybe in the future your country runs into problem. And then we are there for you and your people and your loved ones. Monday morning after 9 o'clock, 9 a.m., the lines will be opened, both for use and both on Keshe Foundation website. We try to put it right on top of the page, Palestinian or Gaza needs, and then you follow the procedure.
Okay, Cristiano had a suggestion to how to find Palestinians, to guide them into the Zoom room to feed themselves. He says through paid campaigns on social networks, it is possible to direct a video guiding them on how to access and behave in the room.
You got to understand there's a lot of spectrum in it. They don't believe it or whatever. But once people start using it, see the benefit of it, it'll build up. This is, don't expect just because you have it, or they all jump on it, and no, because it's a nature of the man. So it'll be built up into numbers in next weeks, and then we go back to it. But if it picks up, if you knowledge seekers do everything you can, talk to each other on the chats. If you find a way, post it up under the chats. We found this way, this Palestinian, this. Get the help of the Arabic-speaking language people to support us too. You can't understand them, but you found them. Ask them, put it on the Arabic language. Please get in touch with this team. This is what we did in Iran. This is what happened with the Chinese team in, what do you call it, the Corona time. In Corona time in Iran, people just came and posted, I'm so-and-so, I'm suffering, this is my address. And the support team just rushed in, delivered the material, saved lives. And I've seen that, how it worked. One of my closest relatives was isolated in the room to die in Tehran. I asked the Iranian team if they can deliver. He has children, and he was there doomed to die. And within less than a couple of hours, I never told them they're my relative, they delivered the material to him, and they saved his life. And we did that again and again. And this is the same. You find Palestinians who need it, go back on the Arabic language. We try to open a Palestine at Keshe, what we call Telegram, by Monday. That you find a team, Arabic-speaking people, become part of this and respond to the need. We have to build the trust. We have to see. We are not going to be successful every time. Some people might not feel or connect to it, but those we can, that's what it counts. Be prepared for good and bad. Some of the people come to you, you try to help, will die because it was not the right time. You arrived too late. But we take this. We had this. We learned this in China when loved ones were lost, knowledge seekers lost, their relatives, and we were too late to reach. There's a time of disaster, and we are there to respond. And it's the first time we put ourselves to test, we put ourselves to success, and we put ourselves to failure to find out where we fail, that in the future we can make it better. We find out. We'll release the Telegram chat line for Palestine on the Telegram that you can get in touch with. You find them, you don't speak, you find a number in Palestine, you want to speak to them, they don't speak Arabic. Sit on that line. And next day, next weeks, in the teaching, we emphasize more and more on this. You prayed for one nation, one planet, one race. This is the beginning of establishing that dream, the reality. And people only believe in it when they say it is there to deliver when they need. And we are there to do. And not afraid of failure. When we fail, it means we haven't understood the process. We have to get better to understand it. And hopefully we can be successful in many cases as well. But a child, when the father puts a headphone on the child who's crying hunger, goes to sleep peacefully because what he needs arrived. The child who's in pain from a bomb, a bullet shell, receives the painkiller through the phone and can sleep in peace without the pain. This is my job, and that's what I came here for. And now we start delivering. And that's why you're here as knowledge seekers. We need your time to save life of children from hunger and from pain, and the mothers and the fathers, if we can do. If the line can stop one amputation because of the infection, You have served your purpose making that call and being here for 10 years to listen to teachings. Any other question?
Okay, thank you. There's a couple of hands up here from Marinez and Alenka. Go ahead, Marinez, please.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Keshe. Thank you very much. We did pray, and I was sure that it comes through. It's just a start. Just first of all, is there a connect line you can put on the chat for the
It'll be
connecting
put,
Keshe Foundation?
all this will be put out on Monday morning. We have to make sure our systems are fully working and people get their, what do you call it, the effect when they come in. Not we find out, oh, we had a problem here, we had a problem there.
And
we have to be able to have all the material as a food ready, all the materials as a, what do you call, alleviating the pains and suffering ready, all in one system. And our main structure can stand such a traffic. And there's all been happening in past 2 weeks. It's not something we just started yesterday. Our knowledge seekers start making the materials for it since last week. That will be ready this week, and it needs a lot of preparation. And we'll be ready when we are ready. We think by Monday morning. We announce it on all the chat lines of the Keshe Foundation. That the line is open. We give you all the details and all the knowledge seekers links that we have in 32 languages will be announced, and then you can use it immediately to go public with it. Send it to the press, send it to the newspapers, send it to social media groups that this is open for Palestinians. And explain to them, do not just come in because I have a headache, because it can cost the life of a child in Palestine. We handle your headaches and others after we resolve this matter in what we call it in Palestine with the forsaken man, the heinous man. I called him the reincarnation of the Moses defeated soul. And this man will go to prison for life. I said to an American very recently, would you do to him what they did with Saddam Hussein? Bring him to a court and proven correct for genocide, do what you did with Saddam and Gaddafi. And smiles. How can we hang one of ours? Let's see.
Okay, thank you.
We announce it on Monday. Once we have everything 100% working the way we want, we release all the information, cover all the Palestinian. I try to get to Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera's are just there for their work. They're not there to do much support as long as they can get news. And try to see how you can get through the Palestinians. I've asked all our Palestinian friends, all the Arab friends, that we don't leave any stone unturned to support. And if you can support us financially to support this, we thank you for it, as you always done. And this is going to be what I call a change of game. Game of technology for peace. And in a way, the next step for us will be disarmament. And we will show you the way we cooperate with the Iranian government and the, what we call Chinese government, will bring the disarmament in the next 2 years. We have the trust, we have the financial backing, and with what you as knowledge seekers will bring that disarmament, that we don't see any more of this mayhem by idiot.
Just to raise our... I have a question regarding the same thing I had before that. I wanted to ask you when you said after the transmission with headphones, you said you continue and use these fields. I use the fields which I had tried in the session to eat. And then after it was working wonderful, and then I told to the physician about that. And little by little, it goes away, or maybe I had some stress and needed to eat.
You
So
have to,
how can we keep it?
You're part of that group which comes every month. This is why we do it on this month, process by process. The first time lasts a few days, next time lasts a week, after next. You learn, it's just a matter of testing it, just what you call strengthening it. This sessions of once every month is not done just for the sake of doing sessions. It gives you time to, what you call, learn about yourself, how far you can take it. I have knowledge seekers who write to me as part of these sessions that today I could do this, it lasts longer, it's more powerful, it's less powerful. You know, when you go for a physiotherapy, they give you a physiotherapy and then they say, come back in 3 days or 5 days, because the body has to work it out till the next time. You can't come the next day for it. You understand? Body has to repair itself. Same with this. You have to learn which part is my soul, how much energy. Next time it'll be a week. Doesn't matter, you see your physician, you take 10 tablets. Doesn't work, because that's the physical side. And then you learn more and more. In the part of the teaching, pain, to change dimensions. This is an art. And it's a knowledge, it's not magic. And we done that with some knowledge seekers who've gone through the process, that they go and they touch their liver, their kidney is sick, they hold it, they change it. And then physically they see the change. A number of knowledge seekers have done that. But you have to learn. It goes away, wait for the next session in March, and then go to the next session, see if this time lasted long. There are two things I have to mention, or three things. Next week teaching will be at 12 o'clock, not at 9 o'clock. And you have to be present for somebody who's trying to create problems for Keshe Foundation, but there will be a bigger problem. So we start at 12 o'clock. The 22nd of March meeting, the third week meeting of the Keshe Foundation, which falls on the, what do you call it, 15th, will be moved to 29th for this month because of the conference in China. We are too entangled with it, so the process of the monthly meeting will move to the 29th. And please remember, there is no session of the monthly meeting till the 29th. And next week's session will be at 12 o'clock. And the third one, I forgot. When I remember, I'll tell
you. Okay. Yeah, Marinez, I muted you there because there's some feedback through your microphone. So if you were trying to speak, is there anything else you wanted to say, Marinez?
And no, I just thank you, all of you. Thank you very much. We are on the right path. And it was a very good news for me. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Are you ready for a few more questions, Mr. Keshe? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, we have a question from Claudia from the Brazilian community. Says, hello, Mr. Keshe. I hope you are well. says, I saw a teaching from 2015 that you showed an image with nanolayers and a liquid between all the nanoparticles. You explained that this liquid involves all the souls in this universe, but we can't see it with our eyes. So my question is, when we sleep, our souls expand and go through this dimension where I can interact in zero time with all the beings in this universe. Could you teach us more about this liquid? And is my emotion like a boat to travel in this dimension?
You remember that magic liquid of the Keshe bottle, which was on the internet for years and everyone was trying to guess what it was? And there was a lot of discussion, what is the Keshe liquid? This liquid is the same, but you have to understand the knowledge behind it. Why is said that? It's very simple. Every plasma in the universe is connected to each other. And if you have one atom of hydrogen or one molecule of water in that bottle, it is connected to every soul created in the universe through the fields of dimensions of the creator. If you don't understand it by yourself, like Vic does, about 30, 40 magnets, and big ones, the ring ones and everything else, puts it on the plate, and go and buy a tiny, tiny little round magnet and try to fit it in and see the big ones move to accommodate this little chap connected to it. So this is the essence of the knowledge. Not everything is in some way or another. But the understanding of the nanomaterials, nano gases and the liquid in between them is very easy. You have, in the world of computers, if you use your iPads and laptops and everything else, you have filtering. You filter what you want to receive and filter what you don't want to receive. In the world of creation of the matter on this planet, you can filter it. It's the knowledge that only receives the strength of the soul of the man, the field of the soul of the man. And these layers are those filters, which makes it easier to connect in a way in energy levels. And this is not something very strange. This is what your bone marrow and the top of your bones does, is a filter for the different energies that when they come out of what we call the bone, become the energy of the T cells, B cells, white cells, red cells, and the rest. So we understand the knowledge. As you don't understand, it looks like magic, but your body does it 24 hours a day. But the strength of the fields we make, because we're connected to the emotions in our system, we connect directly to your soul. We connect to the emotion of the soul, to the soul, not very hard to connect to the soul if you understand how to do it. Even those of you who try to transmute, we teach you how to connect to your soul through emotion. That's the gateway to it. You want to see the mother who died years ago? Connect to the emotion of the love of the mother. She'll be there like your flesh. Those of you who understand what I'm talking about, you'll test it and then you will see. Many of you are sending requests for this, what we call plasma material. We start the production this week and we try to bring, if possible, as much as possible, to Sanya for those of you who actually have purchased it, and if not, they'll be sent. There's a matter of containment that we can transfer and issue what we call the code numbers for them. That is unique and it's been purchased from the Keshe Foundation. and stays a unique number with its own field capabilities. And we'll see how things will take shape and how we go to the next process. Any other question?
Okay, we have a question from Doug in the Q&A here. Is the is the UFO that was seen in Jerusalem showing the transmutation from a photon to a ray when it left?
That is not a transmutation. That's a transportation using what you call a vertical takeoff. I've explained this before. And you create, because of the speed, if you find a high-speed camera or low-speed camera, whatever they call it, and take a snapshot picture by picture, very, very high speed, you see the conversion, how the fields are narrowed, and the craft will not fly in a dish-like vertical up. The craft turns to its side and moves up. This is converting from, like as you say, a photon into a ray. And in some of the papers I've written on document, what it is available, we have written, it's trying to take a vertical takeoff is like a man jumping off a high altitude plane with no parachute hoping to survive. You don't create a cylindrical upwards. You turn the craft to the side, and you, in a way, you work against the vertical and you go up as a ray. This is the way it's done. It's flipping, it's understanding. It's we testing this with all our knowledge seekers, knowing in past few weeks in the lab. I'm watching which leg of the system shows reduction and which way. I keep on telling you, it's just to try and falling on one leg. This is when you turn the craft on its side. And then it becomes like a ray. This is what's the difference in cosmic and what cosmic fields and rays and the ray of light. And it's very special. But don't forget, as you are traveling in the dimension of the solar physicality, you don't feel anything as a passenger inside. You feel a tilt, and it's not like you're going through the speed of sound or you go through G changes. You just change because field strength internally stays the same. You just tilt it sideways. And now to you it looks like change from this, but it's not actually. If you take a very high resolution, slow motion film of it, you see if it's a very good pilot, knows what it's doing, it just flips it over vertically. And I think the Iranian scientists who did this. It's amazing when it's done, and if you know how to do it, it's very, very interesting in how things will take shape. Something which came up, as you remember, 3 or 4 weeks ago, we announced Iran becoming a nuclear power. And in past week, we've seen different presses announce this, that Iran has reached capability. The IAEA announces Iran has capability to produce 3 nuclear warheads, even though they're reducing the capability of their reduction in the stockpile. Iran is in excess of 30 nuclear warheads plus in the operational phase. And we congratulate the Iranian nuclear physicist achieving this position, because we're going to use these materials in the very near future for deep space travels. And I have instructed my team and my family, as through inheritance, I hopefully own in possession of the large plot of lands in the place of birth of my grandfathers, near to Natanz, will build the first Keshe Space Center or Plasma Center in the town of Keshe in Iran, which is about 6 kilometers from Iran nuclear power station, or what we call it, refining. And this will bring huge advantages to what we call the space development. Now they have reached enrichment. We can create pure field strength from the pure 99.9 enriched materials, and it'll give us a huge space advantages. In nuclear power nations, they'll have another leg of advantage over the other nations, as they will understand they have the nuclear energy as a plasma for space travel that they have to share with others, but the others can produce it in a much easier way. And this will take shape in the coming time. We hope that this is set by the time we talk to Isfahan for the Iran conference. Next question.
Okay, from Achilles Da in the Q&A. Says, in the last teaching, Mr. Keshe elaborated about the carbon 840, which is made up of 60 carbon 14s. My question is that if carbon 840 is a molecular like fullerene or a single big atom, can we create...
It's not an atom, it's a plasma. It's a plasma condition. And if you take a shape of it, in size can contain a universe. This is the problem with our knowledge physics. They have to stick, they're always physically trying to imagine it, that how it looks. Is it what you call it, crystal cut, is this cut or that cut? Is it energy, is it plasma, is a dynamic sphere with the characteristic of holding energies within it. It's not an aircraft that you put people in it. It's a field which everything is like an atmospheric condition of the earth, everything in it. And this is important for you to understand. It's not, cut crystal. It's a field which creates its own condition for the barriers. If you look at it from outside, it looks like a football with 60 patches on it. But again, as a field, which makes that football, which is a universe. And if you understand this explanation, there should be no question in what's next. It's a containment by fields, is not containment by physicality. And because of its shape, it reflects its fields back into itself, as has no external connection except at the seams with outside dimensions. If you want to understand the work of the fields in the dimension of the field process, how they connect and how they separate, very easy. Look at your own lips and your skin and see the line of the red in the skin. That line is exactly where the separation comes of your internal system and external skin. And it's an energy field, it's not sewn together. Separation of your lip line and your skin line is not a sewn thing, it's not a football sewn with a leather thread. It's a field gap operation. And because it's a field of magnetic gravitational positioning, some fields which can penetrate that as the strength of it is like you get a, what do you call it, meteorite getting into Earth, can penetrate this gap. And as a virus they do, herpes is one of them. The reason you get herpes is that gap they can go through. The strength is so fine. It's like, nowadays you buy 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you couldn't get rid of the stain on the shirt because it was a stain, it wouldn't come off. The knowledge is now that we produce chemicals which are finer, they can go through the fabric and take the stain off. It's not magic in the room temperature. You literally wash it in the tub and it's gone. It's the same with this space gapping. The herpes virus in energy level is so fine, in a way, high energy, that can go through this gap of the magnetic field gap between the skin, between the lips and the skin. And it has an attraction point, equal balance field, which calls it in. It cannot just go in. There's a part of the brain of the man which produces a balance field equal to the herpes. And this, because of the connection, magnetic field connection, like a twin stars, transfers energy and sits in the brain. And later on, and every time some field changes in your brain, you see the herpes on the lips. Because the energy transfer through where it came has a fingerprint on the path. Many women during their menstrual cycle, because they go through hormone changes of the same, get this, what you call it, herpes-like on the lips. Or they get spots on their skin. It's the same process. Where the field is the strength of the magnetic field in the brain, through hormones triggers this off the cup. And that magnetic field gap between the layers of the skin, then you see it as an infection on the skin. We see that in the youth when they go through hormone changes. As the field changes, we see boil under the skin on their face, and the same spots and moves is where that gap of the skin is, and allows change. And that field changes the salt level in the middle layer, and then it becomes like infections. You see, if you change the emotion of the child, if you change the certain energy fields of intake, no child will have a single boil. And the suffering they go through. But use all the creams. The problem is not the cream, is understanding the fields. And it's the same with this carbon-14, because carbon-840 and plus there is a higher order. We see that in the dimension of the galaxies, which man is not even aware of. These it's like crystals hitting each other in the universe. We never understood it, we see some effects of it. And then this is part of structure to hold within as an energy, not as a crystal structure shape. It's magnetic field is strength dependent. If we have the last question, I have to leave to attend the meeting.
Okay, let's go with Hong in the Q&A, who says, hello, Mr. Keshe, I want to ask, is a person that's located in other parts of the universe after his or her physicality death and then manifests as a star, a galaxy, etc., is it still limited by its new physical body, just like we were created and lived on Earth? Does this existence that has become a star or a galaxy or cosmic dust have the opportunity to learn the transformation knowledge to become a free space traveler?
You are a free space traveler, but the magnetic field, the strength of you, decides your position. And once your position is decided, the environment decides your size. And how you position, I can explain it in a simple way. If you land in a desert and looking for water, or you land on a river full of fresh water, would you land in a part of a space which there is very little high strength fields, magnetic fields, or your soul lands on the river of fields of the same strength than you, your soul, and then it gathers, it absorbs more and more faster and grows faster. And this is the structure, the way it works. In those souls, oh, it's like, you know, is predestined according to the what the soul is evolved in understanding of its process of creation in its infancy on this planet. The seed is sown and the field of strength is decided, and you decide what you take from it and what you put on it. No one controls your soul, and no one takes your soul to slavery unless you don't understand. You want to frighten people. Anybody tells you they are enslaving your soul, understand, we call them the devils. That's how they want to enslave you. You have the total freedom for the first time in generations. In generations. Because you have the freedom to decide for your soul. Nobody wants it, nobody has to, and nobody can touch it nor wanting it. And one day I explained to you in the teaching about what we call the God, or what came originally as Mehr, M-E-H-I. That is the first time we talk about it. Man talked about it, and we have statues from the time of one statues left that we know about, but we see Mehr trying to slaughter a cow, and then there are two boys, one in the front, one in the back, one with a torch pointing to the north and one with the south, and in change in Arabic word to the name of Ibrahim with two sons, and slaughtering of one son, and then the other cow comes. But this comes from the mythical condition of Mehr, which is the origin of the very first time man, with the information we have, speaks about God, the creation, the creator. And one of the teaching of Mehr is there is no slavery. There is nobody can do, and that freedom is there for man to decide to slave himself, to become slaughtered by the wish of the others. Not necessarily physically, but in a way become. One day, go into the history books and learn about Mehr, and then you read about Ibrahim, and you see is actually the name of Mehr, which is changed into Ibrahim. And again goes back to the time of the long time, long time. And the two appear about the same time, where the teaching went across the whole of the Western world, and now became Abrahism because of the way they attached and tagged themselves with it. It's the first time we know about the soul. And teaching of Mehr has been the cornerstone of all the path of beliefs, and then they made the statues to celebrate his existence. Thank you very much for today. Join us if you're Chinese tomorrow in the session, and join us in Sanya if you want to understand a new field, impressions and expressions, and enjoy your trips. And we have some latecomers still registering to come to Sanya. We welcome you to the beautiful land of China. And those of you who would like to take it further. This statue in Sanya is beautiful when you stand in front of it. One of our knowledge seekers, I respect him and I love this guy so much. As knowledge seekers, lives not very far from the statue, from his house. You're not very far from this. And you see how things come and go. It's from his house. He can get to drive and see these and the islands. They produce other things, and it's beautiful. One of the most beautiful islands I've seen, and I've seen many islands around the world. This is a symbol of Sanya in a way. We'll meet him in Sanya, and it's nice to meet him again after 2-3 years after Corona. He is one of the knowledge seekers who has done a lot of research. Real research in, and he is years ahead of many other knowledge seekers in his knowledge. Thank you very much. See you next week. I have to leave, and we release the data, then the links and everything for the Palestine by Monday on all the channels, and we leave it to you to raise the awareness around the world. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Great workshop, and we'll see you next week, hopefully.
12 o'clock.
Yes, right. Thanks for the reminder. 12 o'clock,
Yeah.
not 9 o'clock for next week's Knowledge Seekers workshop. We'll put that up in the notices as well.
Yeah. Thank you very much. See you next week.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Good luck in your meetings, and I hope it all goes well for you and for the Keshe Foundation.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well, thank you everybody for being here for today's 527th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, February 29th, 2024, the leap day of the leap year 2024 here. It's, I think perhaps it's our first Knowledge Seekers Workshop on a leap day. We've had Knowledge Seekers workshops on virtually every other holiday and occasion, but it's hard to find a Thursday that's also a leap year day. So it's kind of special, I guess. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And what else we have to announce? We have the next workshop coming up, the next public teaching workshop. We will be in March already, and it will be Tuesday, March 5th for the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace. And that's with members of the Universal Council. And we look forward to that show, and it's open to members of the public as well. So same channel, and we'll be also broadcasting to YouTube and Vimeo as we are now. Okay, I think here, I guess that's it for announcements for now. And we'll see you in the next public teaching workshop, if not before then. Again, thanks everyone for being here, and bye for now.